It is pretty common for us to need to create one list from another list. I'm going to use this video to talk mostly about that problem, all right? And for that, I'm going to create another list. I'm going to create nums, the numbers is equal to, I want to create a list of numbers from 1 to all the way to 10. Of course, I can write this for and so on and so forth, but there's a much nicer way of doing that. And that if you remember, we got introduced to the function of range. But if I write range of, let's say from 1 to 10, so I'm going to write 11 there. If I do that, it's going to say, oh, range of 1 to 11. So I want to count those numbers. I want to see them specifically. For that, you can use list function. All right, I'm going to create a variable called nums is equal to list of range of 1 to 11. All right, now let's pause and think about it. Well, list was a data type. Now I'm using it as a function. So remember, it was the same for int. Int was a data type and we use it as a function as well. It was the same for float. Float was a data type. We use it as a built-in function as well. It's the same for str. str is a data type, built-in data type. We use it as a function as well. It's the same thing for list, all right? If I do that and call nums, it's going to say, hey, that's a list of numbers from 1 to 10. Now I have a list, nums, all right? Let me call it one more time. Nums, that's a list that we have. Now I want to create a list from this list that its members are half of members here. All right, it's just half of members. So members are going to be 0.5, 1, 1.5, and so on and so forth. Well, there are several ways of doing that. One way to do this is starting from the empty list. I'm going to say nums2 is equal to empty list. All right, for item in nums. Now it is going to go through each of those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nums2 dot append. Well, we have learned append, right? Append what? Append item divide by 2. This is one way to do this, and what it is going to do, it is going to read each of those members 1 to 10, divide them by 2, and append or add to nums2. If I call nums underscore 2, I'm going to get 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. All right, so this is one way to create a list from another list. Here's another example. We have states, right? I want to, for whatever reason, I want to create a list that its members are just repetition of multiplication of these members by 3. All right, so I don't know why anyone would need that, but let's try it. All right, I'm going to create another states2 is equal to empty list, and for item, or it could be items, it doesn't matter, item in states2 dot append what? Append item. Did I say multiply by 3? Okay, multiply by 3. Right, let's look at states 2, and it's going to be DC, 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 VA, 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 MD, 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 and New York, New York, New York. All right, this is pretty common again when it's going to show up in our problems quite often, that we want to create one list from another list. Now, that was the first topic I want to cover in this video. Another topic is a very, very common and really nice topic and a nice capability of Python called list comprehension, or generally speaking comprehension, because we are going to have a dictionary comprehension as well. All right, and that is really what comprehension does. It brings all the for and if from outside right here. Outside, it brings it inside. So pretty much whatever you see on the screen, we are going to write it in one line. All right, what do I mean by that? Let me recall what we have. We have nums, right? Nums 1 to 10, and I want to create another list that's members are half of this. What I'm going to do, I don't need to create an empty list. I'm going to do all of that in just one line. I'm going to say, you know what, this is going to be a list, and this list its members are going to be what? Its members are going to be item divided by 2 for item in nums. All right, let me go back and compare this with what we have on the screen right here. All right, Oh, there we go. See, I did, this is one line. I did the same thing in 3 lines right here. First, I created an empty list and then looped through those items and used append to add those members, all right? Instead of doing that, I'm saying this is a list. Its members are item divided by 2, but what is item? Item is in for all of the items in nums. What is nums? Nums is another list. So I'm creating one list from another list. Let's look at I don't need to give it a name, but let's call it, it's fine. Nums 3, numbers 3 is equal to that. And let's call nums 3, and it's exactly the same thing, right? As a practice, this is what we are going to do. Create a list of even numbers between 1 and 11. All right, now pause video and try to see if you can do this with 2 different ways, with append and with list comprehension. So after coming back, you are going to see the solution. So hopefully you were able to solve it yourself. Let's first solve it with append. All right, we are going to create now I have a list of numbers between 1 and 10, right? We call it nums. All right, so we have that. With append, remember, we are usually starting with an empty list. I'm going to call that evens is equal to empty list for item in nums. Now I'm going to put if here, all right? If item remainder of item divided by 2, if this is equal to 0, all right? Let's pause and see what this is. Oh, my bad. This is it, all right? If remainder of division of item by 2 is equal to 0, it means it's an even number, right? So we have 0, we have 2, 4. So if you divide them by 2, the remainder is going to be 0. If item remainder by 2 is equal to 0, then evens dot append what? Append that item. Now, what this is going to do, it is going to go through numbers between 1 and 10. Every number, it's going to divide it by 2. If remainder, and only if remainder of division by 2 is 0, then it is going to add it to this list. If it's not 0, for 1, 3, 5, that remainder is not going to be 0, then it is not going to append. So this if is not going to go through. All right, this block is not going to be executed. And then at the end, I want to look at evens. All right, and sure enough, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. If you want to see creation of over time, creation of this list and how these members gets added to that, I'm going to do this. After if, I'm going to say, you know what, give me evens. So this one time, this list is going to be just a 2, the other time 2 and 4, then 2, 4, 6, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, let's see. Oh, you know, that didn't happen because I had this extra even there. All right. All right, so let's print it. It's fine. Print it. Because I'm going through it several times, it doesn't show it. All right. All right, so we have a little bit of an extra here simply because this is what happens. What happens that even for numbers such as 1, 3, 5, this list gets printed. All right, this if list, if does not go through, but still I'm printing that. If I want to get rid of that redundancy, I'm going to put this print inside the for loop and see what happens. Now we have 2, 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Now this is with append. Now let's see how we can do exactly same thing in just one line. All right. This one is going to be, this time it is going to be using comprehensions. Comprehensions. All right. Again, comprehensions, I don't need to create an empty list. It's all going to happen automatically. I'm going to say, you know what, I want item. First, now I'm going to copy that for loop, literally copy from here. All right. Let me just type it for item in nums. All right, it's exactly that for loop, right? If I can add if here, if item remainder of dividing item by 2 is equal to 0. So what this is going to do, it is going to go through all the numbers in nums. If that item division by 2 is 0, it is going to add to this list. Otherwise, it's not going to add it. All right. Now, this is using comprehensions. You are doing this the whole thing in one line, but this one you need 1, 2, 3, at least 4 lines for that. All right. Let's do this, and 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Now, this list comprehension is going to come back many times, so we are going to practice. It's a little bit abstract at the beginning, but let me go back and point out to a fact that we didn't really need any of these and even numbers between 1 and 10. You could have done it with the range function as well, right? So I want to bring that up again. So evens is equal to list of range of between 1 and 11 with a step size of 2. All right, and give me evens, right? It's, oh, between, my bad, 0 and 11 with step size of 2. And it's going to be including 0 as well. So if you want to get rid of that, you can say starting from 2. All right. Now this is going to be exactly identical to what we had earlier. So I just wanted to bring that up, that not always you need comprehension, not always you need append. There might be easier way to do the same thing. All right.